All right, so this is titled Mandalorian and Grogu is awful. Star Wars, a no hope. All right, let's try and get through this.
Greetings, you over 1 million Hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. When it comes to reviewing film, I find that the most enjoyable are either really good films or really bad films. With the really good, it's great to enthusiastically share something that I found inspirational, aspirational, thrilling, funny, horrific, in a good way, or something that just kicked ass. The really bad, which quite frankly is the most that comes from Hollywood these days, it's easy to pick that low-hanging fruit and mock the industry that has all the money and resources in the world, yet still finds new and unique ways to f things up. And
by the way, I want to point out that if you've watched movies your entire life like I have, you know that it doesn't matter how much money you throw at something, you can still make a bad movie. Subjectively bad. Financially bad is more objective, but subjectively bad can happen no matter how much money you throw at a movie. They keep coming up with this like tagline where I can't believe the budget was this amount. Like somehow that's going to make the movie good because money gets thrown at it. We know that doesn't work. We've seen it not work.
the one thing they both have in common is at least I found some sort of amusement and it wasn't a complete waste of time. Then there's the worst type of film to review, the boring and pointless movie that only exists to occupy your time as a piece of content. And as
there we go. Pointless, nothing, empty. It's just another word to represent the same thing they're all saying.
you're halfway through, your mind starts to wander and you come to the cold realization that you have just given up precious time that you will never.
I love that they see themselves as Homelander in this moment. Right? They use this visualization quite often. They see themselves as Homelander watching a movie. That's how they feel. That's an interesting person to identify with.
Get back. That's exactly what Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu is. The first film from the cinematic intellectual property known as Star Wars in, at time of recording, 55,632 hours or 2,318 days or 331 weeks or 6 years, 4 months, and 2 days. But as you know, this is not Star Wars. This is Disney Star Wars, faced with
Oh, right. So that makes it different. Got it. Interesting. I feel like he's got a new editor. Is somebody different editing for him? This doesn't feel like a normal Nerdrotic video. Did he fire some people?
box office projections coming in under Solo, a Star Wars story, a film that...
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It hit the projections that they wanted to hit. Right? It already hit the projections. It already made its production budget back. So it doesn't matter.
Came out 8 years ago without adjusting for inflation. Disney decided to roll out the...
You don't adjust for inflation anyway. If you adjust the budget, or if you adjust the box office for inflation, you have to adjust the budget for inflation. They never do that.
influencers to go influence, and that went well.
To get to see like my first little preview of it, I was losing my mind. In IMAX.
I mean, this is just typical branding with influencers. That's all it is. I don't care about this stuff. I don't think I've ever watched an influencer promoting a movie or a TV show before. I don't think I've ever watched it. This is not made for the diehard fans. This is to project to the people who may be looking to see a movie and they want to see excited people promoting the film. That's what it is. It's not made for like the diehard fans.
I was blown away.
You're not going to want to miss this in IMAX.
This is the way!
Listen, I pride myself on my media literacy and my ability to really think deep thoughts about movies, but for this one, I don't care what the plot is as long as he's there, okay? I am just here to see my baby through.
Oh no, a person that really loves one particular character. Whatever will we do? Movie is bad because influencer likes a character. Can we focus on the actual movie? Can we get to the actual movie? I don't care about any of this. This is all a distraction. It has nothing to do with the quality of the movie.
Thrive.
Then, of course, there was this totally authentic picture that Pedro Pascal took.
Repeat after me, everyone. Promotional stuff like this has nothing to do with the quality of the movie. It never does. There's a reason why these guys focus on this kind of stuff, because they have to find a way to get you to dislike or agree with anything they say about the movie by putting you in a frame of mind to dislike it. So they're coaching you into this. They're grooming you into this. So by the time they get to their point, by the time they get into their, oh, it's slop, it's garbage, whatever, you've already been conditioned to feel that way. These kinds of things have nothing to do with the quality of the movie. They're simply there to set the stage for you. They're using this thing the same way they basically accused Disney of doing it. They're using it the same way.
With real fans. Oh, wait, no, it was staged for influencers.
I talked about this before. There is no way that any of these promotional things they do for these kinds of movies, whether it's Star Wars or Marvel or anything like that, isn't going to have vetted people that come into these small spaces with the actors. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do it. Somebody could come in with a weapon. There's all kinds of things that could happen. You're going to get vetted anytime you're around an actor this closely. That's just the reality of it. I said this on the Nerdcast. Anybody who believes that this could have been done without some sort of vetting process doesn't understand security.
Embarrassing.
But apparently, the influence with anybody who is influential ends there with Disney, because their once tried and true comrades in the access media have turned on them. From the BBC, it's felt like homework. Why Star Wars went so wrong.
So wait a minute. How could it be homework if there was nothing in it? This completely counters your statements earlier. You called it pointless. Other people have called it empty. So I'm assuming you're going to say that one of the issues was there were too many things in the movie that tied to other stories that you had to do homework for. Which, by the way, this is bullshit. You have to do zero homework going into this movie. There's none. I went with 4 people. 2 of them had never seen the show. They didn't know anything about these characters, and they understood the movie from start to finish.
My God, bigots. From Slate, we have a new worst Star Wars movie. The Mandalorian and Grogu is so bad, it's baffling. Yet, it really isn't. From Time Magazine, it's too bad Star Wars opted for Baby Yoda when Andor was right there.
Don't pretend like you like Andor now. You guys had plenty of opportunities to hype up Andor. So showing this headline is really funny because I don't remember like endless amounts of videos of you guys saying that Andor brought Star Wars back from the dead. I didn't see that from you guys.
Too bad Andor cost over $500 million and nobody watched it.
So he had to get that in there. He had to get it in there because it's Disney Star Wars. Got to make sure that you guys know it's bad. So why even read that headline? Why even read the headline? What even was the point of that?
First, The Mandalorian and Grogu is barely a movie. I completely disagree. It's not a movie.
Oh, all right.
You did have a written plan originally for a 4th season.
Oh, yeah. We had scripts. It wasn't just a plan. It was we were getting ready because there was a work stoppage because there was a strike. In the past, there had been opportunities if you had already written something. If there was a writer's strike, we had scripts ready because I knew I'd have to stop writing. The strike went on for a long time. And when we came out of the strike, the conversation started, which is like, hey, it will have been almost 7 years at this point since there's been a Star Wars film. These are characters that people know. As there are other projects that were being planned, is there something that we could do with these characters?
At time of recording, the critics score.
What's the issue with that? Why did you share that? I don't understand what the negative was. He said they had pre-existing characters that people seem to like. Most of the seasons were well received by fans. I think season 3 doesn't seem like it was well received, but critics loved all 3 seasons. So it just makes sense that they would be able to write a story for 2 characters they already know how to write for and package it into a movie. That makes sense. I'm not really sure what the criticism was there.
On Rotten Tomatoes is 61%, and on Metacritic, it's 53. And I can hear you now. Who gives a crap what the corporate critics think? They gave The Boys Season 5 a 93%.
That's bullshit.
And that is true, but I want you to remember the last Disney Star Wars film.
But I want you to forget that because I have a narrative, everyone. We have to follow the script, our narrative script on this.
That hit the theaters almost 7 years ago that unintentionally united the fandom and corporate critics alike. The rise of Palpatine, and the same thing is going to happen here with Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Is it?
We're 4 minutes and some change into this review, and we've yet to talk about really any of the details of the movie. This is kind of a problem with these guys anyway, is whenever I click on one of their reviews, I never know if I'm going to get a recap of the movie with very little review, if I'm going to get a bunch of nothingness. Like, none of this matters to me. I don't care about any of this. This is all narrative building shit. Like, none of this has to do with the quality of the movie. None of this. Not one thing we've talked about in the first 4 minutes of this video has anything to do with the quality of the movie.
The worst Star Wars film ever made? No. Arguably, that could be The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, both offensively bad. The Mandalorian and Grogu is just offensively boring. An utterly pointless piece of content, and you've heard this a lot because it's true. It is essentially 3 filler episodes of a bad streaming series made into a bad streaming movie that they decided to release in the theaters. We heard.
Okay, so I looked at this before. Take my word on it. You don't have to, but you can look it up yourself. If you look up on, we'll just go with Rotten Tomatoes. I've used all the different services, Metacritic, IMDb, all of them. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, you'll see that the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian are very well received from fans and very well received from critics. The 3rd season has a good critic score, but not a great fan score. So 2 of the 3 seasons people really enjoyed, and critics enjoyed the 3 seasons of it. So this idea that The Mandalorian is just objectively bad doesn't make sense if you look at everything out there. Why would the studio, who has access to their streaming information, their numbers, they could have done studies with people, asked questions. We don't know about any of this. It goes on behind the scenes, but I'm assuming they have access to this information. Why would they choose to put this movie out if they didn't think that these were their strongest characters from their streaming services? Why? Why would they do that? It doesn't make a lot of sense from the business standpoint. And how would you convince them to put the money in it? We've seen Disney shut down projects recently, so we know they're not afraid to do that. We know they're not afraid to shut them down. But they push forward with it anyway. Which again begs the question, why would they take something that was objectively bad and put it out as a movie? They'll cancel stuff if it doesn't work, right? That's what happened with The Acolyte. The Acolyte got canceled. Because you're saying that they know when something's bad. They canceled it. They canceled Acolyte. Andor didn't get its additional seasons. These are things that you guys say. But for some reason, this show was so bad that there shouldn't have been a movie made. I don't understand. How do we get here?
Nerdrotic like to think that we provide a service because the one thing you can't get back is time. Essentially, I watched this movie so you don't have to, and it saves you 2 hours and 20 minutes of your...
There you have it. There you have it. They want to replace entertainment for everybody. I mean, that's what this is all about, really. I think they talked about it was maybe on Piers Morgan. I think it was a Piers Morgan clip that I saw where they talked about Disney or someone within Disney confirming that these guys have become gatekeepers for Star Wars. They're blocking the gates, and not the way you guys think. Not that they're gatekeeping people from being fans of Star Wars. They're gatekeeping people from enjoying Star Wars, like actual fans of Star Wars from enjoying Star Wars. Because what they do is they create this concept in this media empire they have between Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and their ancillary, satellites rotating around them. They have this media empire where they can just spoil things very quickly, make people hate it, and then people won't go out and watch it and support it. So that's what they've done. But it doesn't have a huge impact. They think they have a big impact on media. Not always. I think sometimes they do, but not always. But they think they have this huge impact by just stealing time and loyalty and money and things away from their viewers. That's what they're doing. And they're okay with that. They don't have a problem with that. He's just admitting it here.
valuable life.
What are you waiting for? Hop on.
The film opens up with a scene on a planet that's totally not Hoth with all-terrain armored transports.
All right, here we go with the recap situation. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to put up with this. If it's just recapping the movie and saying, that sucked, that was bad, the VFX here looked awful, this didn't make sense. If we start to get into that, I might call it a day. We'll see where we go with this.
Terrain scout transports and snowtroopers. Remember The Empire Strikes Back?
Remember Alex? Remember?
So they can't use things from previous movies? Not even the soldiers and the actual, vehicles? That's a problem? I've never heard that. Is that the new criteria now? No stormtroopers and anything that's not. I guess if it's a new property, they can't use stormtroopers. They can't use any of the vehicles from any of the classic Star Wars stuff. That's a member berry now.
Now the Mandalorian is with Zeb from Rebels and little baby Grogu, who's just a little cutesy bootsy.
It's so cute!
As you may or may not know, the Mandalorian is now the official guardian and protector of little baby Grogu. Now, why does he continually take a small child into dangerous situations that will most surely get him killed? That's something I've been wondering since season 1.
Okay, so still there's no criticism here. Yeah, Ahsoka was a child soldier. Yeah, well, there's kids, there's tons of kids in Star Wars. Is he going to talk about what happened with Anakin? We're going to talk about that. They train Jedis at a young age. So that's why this is just this isn't real criticism. This isn't real criticism.
Serves you right.
Anyway, the Mandalorian with the baby Grogu slaughter all the snowtroopers and Imperial Warlord and easily take out the all-terrain armored transports, which are now established canonically as some terrain armored transports. An opening scene that was barely worth the description because it has no consequence over the rest of the content other than being the end of episode 1. Mango, Grok.
So now opening scenes, the criteria now is that an opening scene in a movie has to 100% tie into the rest of the film. It has to be as important as every other element of the film. You can't have an opening scene where you see like a hero doing something cool or badass, and then you go on and move on to the story of the movie. No, the criteria now is the opening scene has to be quite important to everything in the movie. There's a reason why it's called an opening scene. It's there to just get you excited for the movie. That's the point. And also they kind of had to do that because, again, they're establishing the Mandalorian and Grogu to a brand new audience. We need to understand how capable this character is. It needs to be established very early so we can get the story going in the movie. So we do that by showing how badass he is. How capable Grogu is. That's the point of that establishing opening scene, is to set up the criteria for these characters in the movie. Again, that's not a criticism. Give me some real criticism here, please. I'm begging you.
And Zeb go back to the New Republic base where they meet with Kathleen Kennedy, played by Sigourney Weaver. Now, is she there to announce a bunch of projects that will eventually get scrapped? No, she tasks Mango and Grok to find a mysterious warlord.
So you're doing the same, like making fun of their names as Critical Drinker did. I swear there's probably just a group chat with all these guys. There's a group chat with all of them. 100%.
Known as Coin to find out what the Empire is up to. Now, how can they find out what the Empire is up to when there isn't an Empire? Don't know.
No one knows what he looks like, and most believe him to be dead.
Yeah, that's a great plan. That's ingenious, if I understand it correctly. It's a Swiss watch.
And this...
That... I just, like, random dumb shit like that. Like, they're establishing the story. There's plenty of movies where we don't know who the villain is at the beginning of the movie. Now that's a problem. Now, a villain that we don't necessarily know at the beginning of the movie, now that's a problem for this movie. Now that's an issue with this film.
This will give you an idea how the rest of this movie is going to go, because Mangu and Grok have to go to the planet Nal Hut to meet with the Hutt twins to find the location of Jabba's son Rada the Hutt, and then go to the planet Shakira to save Rada the Hutt from the crime lord Janu, so the New Republic can find the whereabouts of the mysterious warlord Coin.
Yes. What's the issue with that? I'm trying to... They're all saying that's a problem. What is the issue with that? I don't understand what the problem with that is. I mean, I genuinely want to know, what is the problem with that story? It's a very simple story. We've seen it done before. They just don't like it in Star Wars, I guess.
As payment, Kathleen Kennedy gives the Mandalorian a new Razor Crest because Hasbro's pissed they blew up the last one. And then we're off on a pointless, meandering adventure filled with inconsequential action scenes peppered with cute little Baby Yoda scenes. Mando meets with the Hutt twins, who show him the last known picture of Rada the Hutt, which is from the Clone Wars movie. You know, the often forgotten first theatrical Star Wars flop written by Dave Filoni, who has coincidentally potentially written the latest Star Wars flop, Mango and Grok.
We have the story. Dave and I bounce back and forth with the story. He'll do doodles or give me notes. Dave's very good at...
I mean, is that the whole review? Is that it? What else can you say about it? Like you said, nothing happens, and it's a bunch of inconsequential stuff. Okay, done. Done. There's nothing else to discuss then at that point.
This is taking way too long, so let's get this over with. So, Mango, Grok, and Zeb go to the planet Shakira and find...
Wait, no, I thought nothing happened. How did we get here? I don't know. Nothing happened. It's almost like there is a story.
And Rada the Hutt roided up to the gills.
Mimic Jabba the Hutt. Oh, I mean,
Mango goes...
Referencing something from another property isn't a member berry. It's just not. I don't know. What does it look like for them on their spreadsheet of like what this movie needs to do? Like what did they expect the movie to do? I'm genuinely curious. So they can't use references to Clone Wars because, as he said, that movie didn't perform well. So fuck that movie. If they use a popular one, like, you know, a character like Jabba the Hutt or something from a popular movie, that's a member berry. If they use any kind of technology, that's a member berry. If they show a stormtrooper, that's a member berry. Like, this is so ridiculous. I mean, how can they even make a Star Wars movie if these are the fucking guardrails they're on? Like, genuinely, I don't know. Like, you can't reference anything Star Wars, but simultaneously you need to be respectful to everything Star Wars? For fuck's sake.
Goes to save Rada, who was perfectly happy as a gladiator with only one fight to go, and then he's freed from the crime lord Janu, who treats him well. And then the stuntman, voice acted by Pedro Pascal, talks to an alien voice acted by Martin Scorsese.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
Who tells him the whereabouts of Janu, and then Mando talks to Janu and offers to buy Rada's contract out, which he declines. Then, in his infinite wisdom, the genius crime lord Janu tells Mando that he plans to kill Rada the Hutt rather than free him. And then Mando goes back to Rada the Hutt and tells him Janu is going to kill him. Rada the Hutt doesn't believe him, and they end up in a battle that's supposed to look like the game.
Oh, you're skipping over why he told him. You're skipping over. Let me correct you, because I had to do it to your buddy Critical Drinker as well. Because obviously either you're liars or you're dumb. So the reason why Coin did that, the reason why he told the Mandalorian that he was going to kill Rada, is because he knew one of two things were going to happen. The Mandalorian was going to stay there and be a problem for him and try to break Rada out some way that he doesn't have any control over. It could happen at a different time, a different place. He doesn't know. He just knows that that might be a problem for him. Or the Mandalorian could be a problem in other ways. Either way, absolute problem. So he goes, I'm going to control the problem. I'm going to control the problem by telling him that I plan on killing Rada, so that he'll go as soon as possible back to where Rada is, because he knows that he was already there. So he can tell Rada that, and then he can capture the Mandalorian there where he can control the situation. That's why he did that. It's a very simple thing to understand. He told him because he wanted him to go back to the jail cell. That was the plan the entire time.
Game board on the Millennium Falcon. Remember Star Wars?
Oh, I
And then they escape. The laser gate around the arena is shorted out, which is reminiscent of the laser gate in Obi-Wan. And then there's a pointless chase scene through Space Chicago.
Oh no, a laser gate technology that we saw in another Star Wars property is being used in this Star Wars property. Oh no, they're referencing a game from another Star Wars property in this Star Wars property. These are member berries. This makes it bad. Understand, guys? It's bad. This makes it a bad movie.
Where eventually Mangu, Grok, and Zeb capture Rada the Hutt. Now, through all this, we learn that Rada the Hutt wants to be, and I quote, his own man. Now, why would a Hutt say, I want to be my own man? Not sure. He's tired of living.
So now we're nitpicking just general conversation. They got nothing, you guys. They literally got nothing. This is one of the copious videos I've watched. It's almost mind-numbingly bad. Like, I'm literally zoning out a little bit because it's just so fucking try-hard. This is try-hard bad.
In his father Jabba's shadow, and he also tells Mango that the Hutt twins don't want to save him, they want to kill him. And that the crime lord Janu is the warlord Coin, you know, the person the New Republic is looking for information on an empire that's not the empire. So instead of turning Rada in, they decide to go capture Janu and land on a beach that looks like it's just outside a shell cottage in Tinsworth. I wonder where Dobby's grave is. And despite being heavily outnumbered by stormtroopers, they captured Janu.
So now a beach is a problem. Now they don't have beaches in Star Wars.
Janu, who looks suspiciously like Aleister Crowley, pretty easily. And they go back to the New Republic base where we get a Dave Filoni cameo as Dave Filoni, and they turn him into Kathleen Kennedy, and that's the end of that episode.
I'm gay.
In the next episode, Mango, Grok, and...
What is the pejorative I'm gay just kind of thrown in there for? What? What the fuck was that for? It's funny that you keep like equating acts of a movie to episodes of television. You're like, oh, that was the end of Act 2 of the film. Now we're going into Act 3 of the film. Now we can't do movie acts. The 3 acts that we normally get in a movie, that structure, we can't do that because that would just mean you can make it a TV show. That's where we're at.
Rada go to the planet with the Babu Fricks, and no, I don't give a shit what their species name is. And then the stuntman, voice acted by Pedro Pascal, is captured by the bounty hunter Embo from Dave Filoni's Clone Wars and Rebels, and you wouldn't know this character's name if you watch this film because they never say it.
It's unnecessary. We don't have to know the character's name. We don't have to know. It's a character that's there. Like, if you know his name, cool. If you don't, you don't. It's not really that important.
I don't care.
So now both Mango and Rada the Hutt are prisoners of the Hutt twins who feel double-crossed, and for the first time in this film, they take off the Mandalorian's helmet, and unfortunately, we get to see Pedro Pascal's face. And then...
Why do you say unfortunately? Earlier, you made a joke about him voice acting. This is it's like, you don't like it anyway. It doesn't matter if he wore the helmet or he didn't wear the helmet. Like, you'd complain about it either way.
He falls through a trap door just like Return of the Jedi.
Remember the Rancor? Ooh, I remember it.
But now I understand why they took off his helmet, so Pedro Pascal can go into battle with a giant white snake. Make of that what you will. But not before the Hutts inexplicably return his helmet that they just stated was one of the most valuable things on the black market, because obviously Pedro Pascal was only scheduled for a couple of days of shooting. And isn't it strange that throughout the series and this film, people continually capture and want to kill the Mandalorian, yet they still let him keep his armor and his helmet? Anyway, Pedro Pascal...
I guess in a movie like this, you should just strip him naked, right? Just have a naked actor running around, because that happens all the time. Anytime somebody's fighting a superhero or something, they take all their clothes off and just leave them naked. That makes sense. That's the criteria.
Is bitten by the white snake and then beats the white snake, and then he's saved by Cutie Booty Baby Yoda and the Babu Fricks, who take off without knowing they leave little Cutie Booty Baby Yoda behind, which is a good thing because eventually the Mango succumbs to his wounds. And then there's an excessively long scene with
Is this a review or a recap? I'm bored with this. I'm bored with this. This is dumb. They reference something, it's a member berry. They don't do exactly what Nerdrotic likes, and they made a mistake in the writing. Something doesn't make sense to him, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Like, just none of this feels like it's good faith criticism. There's a couple things in here that you could probably spend time talking about and articulate a bit more, but I just don't understand. I don't get it. Like I said, the movie doesn't do anything new. It's not breaking any new ground. It's not creating anything that, like, if you miss it, it's not a big deal, whatever. Like, none of this is going to be, it's going to affect the larger Star Wars world. It's an individual story within a movie. And I actually like that about it. I like that it is contained into this one movie. You go watch it, you leave, and you had a fun little adventure with two characters. There was a time when you would go to movies and this was all you would get in movies, is a story that happens within one movie and then ends. No sequel, no follow-up, no franchise, no universe. It's just a standalone individual story within a movie. If that's not for you, then that's fine. But saying you can't reference anything from Star Wars or that's a member berry, I can't take him seriously. Like, this isn't a serious review. He spent the first 6 minutes talking about everything but the movie, and we've been watching for like 5 minutes, and he's just recapping the movie and making little snide comments. I don't care what he has to say about it at this point. I don't care. Get to the fucking review. Literally get to the review. All this is outrage content. That's all it is. There's nothing of any substance there in that clip that we watched. Nothing.